And then we'll just do our thing. So if you guys are ready, we're gonna get going.
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
Go on 3. I don't know why I count down.
Sorry.
Well, all right.
You can do it.
Okay.
Woosa.
Well, hey everybody! Welcome to a very carny-filled episode of Small Town Failing Podcast. I am Joe, your illustrious host, joined once again by Ariel and Rachel from the Zombie Grrlz Podcast Network universe. So since you both, sorry, I should let you say hi at least.
Hi.
Hello.
So
thank you for having us back.
No, thank you both for having. I know it was like last minute, and I made you watch this movie, and it was a lot to ask in like a 3-day period.
No, it worked out perfectly.
But since you both came on the first time, which I don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember the premise. I didn't realize that you all have about 900 podcasts like under the like Zombie Grrlz like umbrella.
Yeah.
And how many
is
is
it?
MCU like, at this point?
Without any money, and also it's a horror podcast with a bunch of girls. Like that's it. That's the vibe.
How many though?
I mean,
Scream Queens,
4?
Yes.
5?
More Deadly, Zombie Grrlz Prime, Untitled Nick Cage Show. What am I forgetting?
Cast of Caw.
Cast of Caw. There we go. 5.
And
yeah.
the Cast of Caw, that is what? It's a show I don't watch, and I was confused when you posted things about it.
You and everyone else. No, that's our Stephen King. We're covering the entire Dark Tower series, like book by book by book, chapter by chapter.
Oh my God. How do you do that? Because there's his books. I think I read The Stand, and it took me about 1.5 years.
Yeah, that one's tough. Well, this is an actual 8-book series,
right.
and that's why we've been doing it for years. We're on book 5 of 8 right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And sorry, I didn't even say the movie that we're watching this week, or we had watched, is Sweeter Than Chocolate. 2023 Hallmark movie. It just premiered last weekend, so it's still all over, and you can find it. It's on Peacock. I think during the holidays they were putting all the Hallmark movies on Peacock, but only for like 3 days. But I think now that that's over, they're letting stuff linger a little more. So you got that going for you if you want to check this out. Directed by David Weaver, starring Elise Mumford, who I know has been in a handful of other movies. I know her as what's her name's best friend in the Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey movie.
Oh, right.
She is in there. Also, Brenda Strong plays her mother. And did you all recognize her from anywhere?
Desperate Housewives, right? Or
yeah,
she was the voice, I think, in Desperate Housewives, right? She's
the
one that got
dies in the
like
first
that.
episode, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
She was also the nurse in Spaceballs when they're gonna do the they're gonna reverse Vespa's nose job at the end.
Oh, that's wild. I had no idea.
And she's also been in 4 episodes of Seinfeld where she plays, and my thing is like going super slow and I can't bring it up, but she's the one that walks down the street in her bra with like a shirt over it and like causes like a car accident and stuff.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I want to like Sue Ellen Michigan or something like that. I don't know. And then Dan Jeanette, who I'm probably saying his last name wrong, but he plays Dean Chase. So I know you've at least watched one other Hallmark movie, but remind us again, like, what's your experience in the Hallmarkiverse or whatever you might call it? Or, is this your first time going back? Did you become like giant fans after the last episode, or where are we at?
I don't know that
I mean,
Rachel became a giant fan.
I'm more of like a lifetime woman in peril, like end
Yep.
of the spectrum. Like I said this last time, but I lived in a trailer park in the 90s and we had Trailer Vision, which was Showtime, the History Channel, and Lifetime. So I watched a lot of like My First Name, or I Know My Name is Steven, or like Mother May I Date Danger, or whatever. Like that
Did
is
they
that
actually
is more my end
call
of the
it
spectrum.
Trailer Vision? Because that doesn't sound great.
No. That's just what we called it. Yeah, but I mean, so this is probably, I think, probably my second Hallmark movie, so I'm still pretty fresh in the game.
Fair enough.
Listen, when Joe calls and tells you it's time to watch Hallmark, you watch freaking Hallmark.
If you can work it in. And Ariel, I think you are a little more versed, right? If I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, I've seen hundreds of Hallmark movies and Lifetime movies, and especially around Christmas, I watch a lot of them because I really like. I don't mind the corniness when it comes to a Christmas movie, and I want as many of them as I can get, so I'll watch them. And I don't know. Rachel has a thing against romantic comedies. I don't have that issue, so I'm
That's 'cause I'm
happy with
dead
a
inside.
cheesy romantic
Really?
comedy.
Dead inside.
I think
There's something like
oh no, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say there's something really familiar about the format that they always follow. So when you need that kind of predictability in your life, it can be nice to turn to a Hallmark movie.
And I know I've told this story like 100 times on the show, but like that was kind of what drew us into, like, we had just had our second daughter. I was on paternity leave. We were up at like 3 a.m. every night, like doing feedings and stuff. And we just needed something for like comfort food. And, we weren't watching like horror movies or anything when we're doing like late night feedings. And we started watching like a ton of Hallmark and a ton of QVC. And it just like, it's there. You don't have to really think, like you can just kind of unplug. I mean, I will say, this movie kind of follows the traditional format, but there are a lot of them now that are like, they don't end up with a couple being together and things like that. So it's,
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think I've seen one of those.
Me neither. Yeah.
There was and Elise Murray, who's been on the show a couple times, every time a bell rings, not to spoil it for you, but like the story is more about these three women coming back together in their hometown, and like there's romantic interests, but the end where it wraps up, and again, not to completely spoil it, but like there's no like big kiss, and there's no like I'm moving from the town here to be with you or anything. Like it's, they're
That's really cool
for sure. Yeah. I love I mention her all the time, but like Elise, I think she's doing like such cool stuff with these movies and like kind of breaking the traditional mold. And I mean, even in this one, not to like completely jump ahead, but like I'm sure you were both just as shocked as I was when we got like a 90-year-old gay couple that they were doing interviews with. And I was just
like,
I teared up at that part.
Someone Candace Cameron is like grooming her Hallmark voodoo dolls.
Exactly. It's almost, and I love that they're doing it, but it's almost Hallmark is like, you know what? You're going to leave? Fuck you. All right, here we're going over the top.
Yes. The gay agenda has arrived on Hallmark.
There was when and now we're just completely all over the place, but when the mother is looking at condos and she has this interaction with the realtor, and I go to Leslie, I'm like, those two are going to end up together.
Oh my gosh, that would have been like, so cute.
Right?
Yes.
I started thinking more like, all right, she's grieving the loss of her husband. Like, I don't know, they could still maybe pull that out, but like that might be a jump for Hallmark. But anyway, back to
Hallmark
you
After
two.
Dark.
Yeah. What's the latest as far as like what horror movies you all have been watching, or what's the latest episodes that you all have posted, or what do you got going on?
Ariel, you're better at this.
We just posted
like Swiss cheese brain.
So we just posted our More Deadly episode. That's the podcast where we talk about women identified horror directors. And we did an episode on Sorry About the Demon that just came out. It's on Shudder, and we reviewed that one. And we've been doing a lot of interviews lately too. So we interviewed Beth Wall, who directed Baby Ruby.
Baby Ruby.
Yeah. And Roxanne Benjamin, who directed There's Something About the Children.
Oh,
So,
nice. Very cool.
yeah, it's just been really fun. We've gotten to talk to them. They all have like super interesting things to say about their career and what went into making the movie. So it's really exciting to get to put those out.
Awesome. Very cool. And I don't want to spoil it, but I think I'm going to be on when you guys do Cocaine Bear,
Yes.
which I'm very excited about. Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah, at the very end of the month, we are going to be reviewing Cocaine Bear.
Like
Very
there was
excited
no one else like even considered to be the
we were
host
just
on
like,
that
this is for
episode.
Joe.
The minute it was on the schedule, we're like, we got to reach out to Joe.
I'm very excited. I know like the story and kind of the lore around it, but like I have no idea what to expect with that movie or like what you're actually walking into. So I'm very excited.
Me neither. I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
Excited. It's going to be insanity. I hope
so.
I hope there is a musical number since she did also direct Pitch Perfect.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
it is.
a musical
It's
number.
Elizabeth Banks, right?
Yeah,
is she directing it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't get over that. Speaking of cocaine or the cacao plant, you like that? You like that segue?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
in the future, they're gonna look back on podcasts and be like, "This is how you do it, folks."
How do you jump to a
podcasting.
Hallmark movie from Cocaine Bear? So Sweeter Than Chocolate, we mentioned it just premiered last weekend. So it's part of their I think they're calling it their like Romance a Day or something. I don't know. February, they're like churning out like Valentine's Day movies now. To I think kind of, follow up with all their holiday stuff. So this was the first one. There's one like I think a new one every weekend, but pretty much it opens with our main character, and I'm terrible that we're on video. Like I feel like I'm just looking at everything, but Lucy Sweet is a baker, and we get kind of a story that like that's not her real last name. I think it was like her grandmother changed her some. Yeah. Like because it was like
that's it.
they always joke that like the main character is like Chris Mass, and like at least in this one they said like, well, that's not really my name, but we did our thing. So she owns a chocolate shop with her mother. Her father has passed away, which we kind of get into later, but they have like a modest business going. We kind of get an idea that their rent is increasing and there's money troubles. And the whole thing kind of focuses around these chocolates that have this lore about them that if you buy them and share them with someone, like you're gonna find love. And it's not like too well defined, but that's the whole thing. The first thing that stuck out to me though is the opening shot. Those are clearly coffee beans, right? Like that they showed in the background. Like, did you?
They sure looked like it.
Because I don't know if you've ever been to Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I have ridden that Chocolate World ride like at least 500 times, and I know what a fucking cocoa nib looks like. Those were not cocoa nibs.
They're not gonna pull the wool over your eyes.
Damn right.
I love that we're starting this off with Nibgate. Everyone get out your foil.
So they get this letter that the rent is increasing at their chocolate shop, like something like 30 or 60%.
They said 64% a month. I don't see how that's possible. That didn't make sense.
I had this same confusion where I'm like, does that mean that every month it's going up another 64%? But
right.
I assume what they meant was it's going up 64%, and that's what it's going to be every month from now on. But like, I had the same confusion, Ariel. I'm like,
yeah.
So like by next year, it's going to be like $3 million to own this place.
Yeah, sell a lot of truffles. Ooh.
So I guess the first question, are you both chocolate fans? Do you enjoy a Valentine's Day chocolate, or, what's your stance?
I am a huge chocolate fan. I would eat chocolate all day, every day, if I could get away with it. My stepmom growing up, her entire family are like chocoholics. So every time I go to visit my grandma, you could just open basically any drawer and any cabinet in her entire house, and there would be chocolate inside. And she always had one of those big boxes.
Was her name Willow Wonka?
So it definitely made me a huge chocolate fan. Yeah,
nice.
Especially because I grew up with hippie parents who didn't allow us to have candy.
You had like carob or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, or those like little sesame logs that were just like a tiny bit of honey and sesame seeds stuck together.
That's
My
sad.
God, call CP.
Are
Call
you
Justin.
a dark chocolate fan? Like because they take a firm stance in this movie that like if you're over
A
30,
weirdly firm stance where
Yeah,
first
there's
it's
some
like
like milk
nobody.
chocolate shaming.
Yes, what was with that? They were like nobody over 40 would eat milk chocolate, and then later they're like nobody over 20 eats milk
yeah,
chocolate.
they
And I was
like
like, what the hell?
progressively dropped it. Like,
Yes.
as soon as you can
Yeah.
walk,
Yeah.
if you're eating milk chocolate, you're an asshole. Like,
This is like subliminal message from Big Cacao. They're
Yeah.
just like, we got to get that percentage up in the bars. We'll get them on Hallmark. The Venn
Yeah.
diagram of Hallmark watchers and cacao eaters is
I don't know.
high.
I still love milk chocolate. I like dark chocolate too, but once it goes over that 70%, I'm out. I'm done.
I'm the same. Like, I love dark chocolate. Like, if I was going to eat just chocolate on its own, I will go dark chocolate. But I mean, you know, like a Kit Kat or like your Halloween candy, like I have no qualms with like milk chocolate. Rachel, what about you?
Yeah, I'm pro any kind of chocolate. Like I could practically just eat a spoonful of the unsweetened cocoa. I
Mhm.
like I almost did it while I was watching this. Like this, you know, as a former smoker, like if I see smoking on TV, I'm like, oh, gimme, gimme,
Mhm.
gimme. But this had that same kind of experience as I was watching it, especially when he was like tasting the chocolates. Finally, I was like, do I need to go to See's Candy today?
It looked
I felt
really
the same
good,
way.
right?
Yes, it did.
Really
It looked
good.
so good. When she was tempering the
I want-
chocolate, I was
yeah.
like, I just want to bathe in that. That looks
Yeah.
amazing.
I
Although-
want a dark chocolate ambrosia now, real bad.
But every time they took a bite, it did sound like extremely hard, right? Like whatever
And empty.
sound effects they were using. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about the weird bites? Like there was a lot of obviously not taking bites that were happening.
And somehow they
Yeah.
like made it look sensual. Like they were like they would kind of put it in their mouth, but then it looked like they were almost like French kissing the cook.
I just
And-
like who nibbles on a chocolate? Like I
Yeah.
I turn into a freaking animal. Like who takes
What's-
bites?
Because the inside shots they show too, and like some of the pictures look like it was just like pure liquid inside, like weird, like kind of oozing, but in like two different colors. I was very kind of confused about what do they call them? The cupids, the chocolate
Yeah, the
cupids.
cupids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
Well, I think
so-
with Hallmark, it's like they have to have you making out with the chocolate because that's as close as like a sex scene as you're gonna get, you know?
yeah, which
I guess that's true.
this one, like you always get the like kiss at the end, and not to spoil anything, but like I felt like there was definitely sex going on in that chocolate shop, like. And especially at the very end, like there was like something went down as soon as like the cameras stopped rolling. There's a Skinamax version of this movie out there somewhere where like, you know, it's a full 2 hours and things are going on. So the whole lore around these chocolate cupids they're pretty much like bonbons, and we get this backstory that what's her name's grandfather kind of invented these things. Lucy, her grandfather, I think it was, invented these things, and he didn't sell them, but he always had this kind of superstition that like if you ate them, you found love, and you know, and again, like the path is we kind of learn is different for everyone, but they never really sold them until Lucy discovered the recipe after he passed away in a book and started making them. And now it's kind of this lore in the town that if you buy these, you're going to find like true love with your partner or whatever. They have like a wall with like all the people that have gotten together. My concern was like, what person is going to fucking buy these things? Like you're going on like a first date. I'm not going to go pick up something where like the intention is that you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person. Like it's an investment. Like I don't feel like everybody would be losing their shit over getting these things home, you know?
Yeah, it's less candy, more red flag.
Right?
Someone's like, swipe right, here's a Cupid candy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
I
like,
think the movie.
and then what, next time in the basement? Like,
Oh God. I think the movie kind of tries to tackle that part of it by having people on first dates, but then they eat the chocolate and don't end up with those people, but they end up with each other. To be like,
yeah.
okay, well, if that person that you're on that date with when you eat the chocolate isn't right for you, you're not going to end up with them. You're going to end up with your quote unquote true love instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I say, it's very loose, like the
Very
kind
loose.
of
Yeah.
logic
Yeah.
behind the chocolate cupids. And this is kind of where we meet Dean Chase, who is the local news reporter who kind of does the the gotcha busters or whatever. Like the it's a little unnerving that like in the first 25 minutes, the only person of color you see is Dean Chase confronting a guy in a parking lot about scamming people.
God.
And that guy,
Yeah.
like literally, he got halfway through saying his name and that guy bolted.
It was like every episode. Do you remember that show Cheaters? Did you ever watch
Oh my
Cheaters?
God,
Yes.
yes.
That show was the best.
Do you remember
was
what
kind of
was it Joey Greco?
family-friendly cheaters? Yes.
And
So
there was the
Dean-
episode where Joey got stabbed.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ariel, if you had insomnia in the 90s, nothing was better than an episode of Cheaters. It was always at some dodgy, like roadside motel, knock, knock, knock. Oh, perfection.
And you would watch it for like 15 minutes and be like, there's no way that this is real. And then like 5 minutes later, you're like, this is 100% real. And like the world is going to hell.
Yeah. Humanity is doomed, but we're
Yeah.
gonna be entertained on the way
Like,
out.
poor Joey Greco. He had that little like flavor saver.
Oh,
Oh no. I
It
hate
was just
those.
like a little nub there. Yeah. It was. So Dean, his whole thing is like he wants to, expose fraud in the town, and we kind of get this backstory that he's looking to like become a news anchor and either get to Chicago, or we kind of find out New York City later. So his boss, what's her name, Nora, says, "Hey, I know you're interested in kind of expanding. There's this thing going on at the chocolate shop. Because Lucy's best friend and the flower store owner next door posts on social media about the Cupids, and it kind of explodes on social media, and Dean goes there to interview her, and he originally wants to do kind of like there's no way that these chocolates work, which first of all, like, what the fuck, Dean? Like, come on.
Yeah. This is not the hard-hitting thing you think it is, my friend.
And like, do you need to take down like the small chocolate shop in like downtown? Like, are those the people you're going after?
Yeah.
But his boss is like, look, just do like a nice piece on it and this whole thing. So he goes there, and like pretty much Dean is the love interest. But I'm curious what your all thoughts were on Dean, because he seemed like a bit of a dick for most of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he starts out being so condescending about the whole thing and kind of an ass, but I don't know. I felt like there was enough charm to him, and the chemistry between him and the lead was good enough that after the first, say, 20 minutes or 30 minutes of the movie, I ended up liking him.
It took me a little longer, but I
Yeah.
I mean, so you're 100% right, though, because Lucy does not take any shit from him. Like,
No,
she
he's
is
awesome. Love
like,
it.
he goes there and tries to like dispel the whole thing. And like, she's immediately like, all right, get the fuck out of my store. Like, I don't even want you here. Like,
Yeah.
she, as much of a prick as he is, like, she can, deal with it and dish it back. So yeah, I 100% get what you're saying.
But
Rachel,
he is an ass in the beginning. I agree with that.
He is. I mean, I think the whole thing that irked me is the fact that like he's trying to like take down a chocolate shop. Like, what's your problem, buddy? Like, who cares?
Right. This isn't Hershey's. Get over yourself.
Well, also, it's not like, is anyone thinking that this is legitimate like magic, and if it doesn't work, like, they're getting their heart ripped out or something? Like, it's just like a nice fluff piece, Dean. Like, step back a little bit.
Yeah, take it down about 5 notches. I mean, he's like the closest thing we have to a villain in this, which is one of the ways that I was like, this does kind of break the formula. I actually think this kind of breaks the formula in a few different interesting ways that I thought was cool. Like, there's never a moment where she feels she's choosing not to love, but she's never like undeserving of love. And also there is literally no villain in this piece aside from him just kind of being a douche. The stakes on this are like low in a way that felt sweet and nice. I don't know, guys. You guys are gonna be shocked by my review of this, I think.
That's I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like, the whole kind of tension that they set up in the beginning is that their like rent is going up. Yeah. But then that's kind of like swept aside. Yeah.
Yeah, you never see the landlord, and it never is really that big of an issue because immediately they start getting enough orders that they're like, oh, we can cover our rent now. So then that whole tension piece goes away, and it's just Dean, I guess. But he also becomes he buys into the whole thing too pretty quickly. So he
Yeah.
doesn't really remain a villain.
And not only that, like,
Right.
the rent's going up, and for some reason, Lucy seems legitimately pissed anytime there's a lot of people in her store. Like,
I know.
her friend Serena is the she owns the flower shop next door, and like she's the one that posted on social media about it and kind of started the whole like blow up that's going on there. And Lucy walks in the next day and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill Serena." I'm like, don't you need this? Don't you need sales? Like,
I mean,
Yeah, she
why are
seems
you
so
staring at your
frustrated.
sad pink and red coated spreadsheet if you don't want more business to come in?
why are you so
Yeah.
mad about this?
As
So
someone who spends their days looking at Excel spreadsheets, were you upset to see that show up in your film? Were you
Yeah.
you're like, I need to get away from this shit.
so the initial piece goes well, and or sorry, like it doesn't go well, but he goes back to do like a one-on-one interview with her because his boss is like, what the fuck, like, do this. And that whole scene, the interview, honestly felt like some sort of weird porn audition. Like, it was real creepy setup where like she's just sitting in a chair, and like he kind of starts off sarcastic with her, and at one point she goes to like take off her mic, but it looked like she was like unbuttoning her shirt, and I'm like, what
It
is about to
did.
happen here?
Were you getting audition flashbacks from this weekend, Ariel? You just saw audition for the first time. I need to see Takashi Miike's Lifetime movie.
Oh God, that would be traumatizing.
but then like he makes a lot of comments of like, all right, just pretend the camera's not here, and like, why don't you like it felt like that scene from Fame where
Oh God.
right?
Oh God. Oh God.
Like, what's about to happen here? But anyway, they finish that. The interview goes great. Seems like they're falling in love by the end of that, and we're only like 20 minutes in at this point. And his boss loves it. Everything kind of goes great, and then it sparks this idea that they're going to do like a larger piece, going around and interviewing all the people that have had these chocolate cupids and fallen in love, and like pretty much all the success stories. And the backdrop of this is that Dean also has a potential job offer in New York City, so like a lot is riding on this. And that's really, I guess, kind of the meat of the movie, where we're going kind of person to person and like getting the backstory of a lot of these romances coming together. And yeah, I don't know. And the mom is looking at buying a condo, which I didn't quite understand like what that meant for Lucy. Like,
Right.
is she getting kicked
She's
out of the
getting double
house?
evicted.
Yeah, I think she'd have to move because she
Yeah.
she specifically moved in to help care for her mom while she was going through depression, and so
Yeah.
I guess now
So-
it's like I need to sell the house. Bye.
So Leslie and I had a long conversation about this last night, and to be fair, we were very high at the time. But like, what do you
Love it.
think was like the trajectory? Like, did she move home when the father got sick, and then she just never left, or did she assume that now I can stay in my mom's house, or like, do you think Lucy imposed, or she just never moved out?
To me, it sounded like she specifically moved in because her mom was not able to take care of herself
Mhm.
because she was so
Mhm.
deeply depressed. But I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
she could have moved in when the dad got sick. But it sounded like she moved in to take care of her mom. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
as her mom got better, she just stayed, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, it was. I couldn't quite piece it together. But what you're
Yeah,
saying
I mean,
makes
they
a
don't
lot
make
more
that
sense
whole
than-
plot line super clear, and they definitely drop it. You know, if we
Yeah.
never see her actually pick out a new place or sell the old place. They just sort of
Yeah.
leave that.
And she doesn't get together with the realtor like I assumed was going to
No.
happen.
She does in my head canon.
Yeah, that would be so cute.
Because I guess that's what I couldn't quite figure out. Like, if she does buy that condo, like, is Lucy going with her? Does Lucy have to find her own place? Like, again, we kind of get to the like maybe the money trouble, but like, I don't know. I don't know what happens there.
Yeah, it seemed
Yeah,
like the
they dropped a
implication was
few
maybe
plot
Lucy
lines.
would go back on her own, but
Yeah.
I have no idea.
move
I don't
on
know.
with her life.
Yeah.
But the other one that they totally drop is the curse. Like,
I
there's
know.
all this sort of like hints that if she uses this and she exploits this thing, that something bad's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I'm picturing like the third act thing where it's like, you know, everything starts falling apart. But
Mhm.
like the curse is she's too successful.
Yeah, it totally does the opposite. Because
I was like,
they bringing it
what's
up
the
a number
takeaway
of
here?
times, and like
Yeah.
nothing comes of it ever.
No.
Yeah.
And I had another, and maybe I just missed like what this was, but at one point, and it's around this when like when the mom is looking for a condo, she picks up a picture of like a teenage boy or something and like kisses it with her hand.
Yeah, I was confused at first before I got a good look at it. I thought that it was a picture of the father, but then
Yeah.
I paused the movie and looked at it, and it did look very young. So I don't know
It
if it was a
looked like
picture
a
of like
teenager, right?
the dad when he was young, or
Well, they
'cause he only
met
died
in
8 years ago.
college.
Yeah.
They met
Yeah.
in college. You're forgetting
Yeah.
the lore, you guys.
Oh,
the
I am
lore.
so sorry. Forgive me.
They
But yeah,
met
you're probably
in
right.
college and they reunited. Come on, guys.
I just think it would make more sense in that case to have a picture of the two of them together at college to like
Exactly.
clue
Yeah.
you into what the picture was, as opposed to like you starting to think, well,
Again,
wait, did she have
Candace
another
Cameron
kid that
Bure.
something happened to,
Yeah.
or what?
She's gay agenda, kissing a teen photo.
Maybe her husband was a teen. Like maybe he was 18 and like that was the thing. The mom was a school teacher. It was like one of those Midwest stories. Like, you know.
Like a reverse Leonardo DiCaprio.
Exactly. Exactly. Which honestly, good for her, you know? But I was very like to the point where like I paused and I'm like, what's happening here?
Right.
So, like I said, we kind of start going around and meeting all these different couples that have found love because of the chocolate cupids. And the first one they go to is in a school, and for some reason, this school just lets Dean and Lucy like be around their children for like the day. Like they walk in
It's a little weird.
and immediately
With
get
scissors.
roped into like cutting out Valentine's Day stuff for them. Like I was very sort of like, what the fuck? We just came here to like ask you 3 questions. Like now I'm a teacher for you.
I mean,
Yeah.
we are in a little bit of a teacher crisis. You got to take it where you can.
Right.
It's valid. That is 100% valid. So, but that's where we kind of get the like, and I forget if it was this couple or one of the other ones, but like, it's not so cut and dry that like we went on a date, I bought these chocolate cupids, we got together. It's a lot of the stories we get are like, oh, we dated in high school, then we kind of, you know, fell out and didn't see each other for like 10 years, then we got back together. So the magic of the chocolate cupid is very kind of loose and up in the air about like how much it actually works.
Yeah, it kind of almost seemed more like the chocolate shop itself was the thing, because most of them met because they went in the chocolate shop to buy chocolate. It's just like proximity to each other that was, you know,
that's
the driving
valid. I
force.
feel like this could have been a lot better. Like if they just made it around that. Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of, I don't know if this is silly, but I was sort of hoping there was a little bit more magic to it. Do you guys remember the movie Simply Irresistible?
Yes,
With Sarah
I was
Michelle
thinking about
Gellar?
that the whole
Yeah.
time. Yes.
Yeah, with like the magic little crab and the flowers, you know?
I do
Yes.
not know.
Oh, okay. Well, she's like a chef.
Tonight's edible watch.
Mhm.
You're going to thank us. But I was sort of hoping for something like that to be in this. I don't know.
Like a little, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and then the next couple, and this, it was such a minute detail, but it completely broke me. They go and meet these 2 men that got together because of the chocolates. They sit down and the 2 guys are like, we took the liberty of ordering drinks. And there was 4 drinks, 3 of which were like different, but there were 2 that were exactly the same.
Yes.
And Lucy and Dean end up picking the same drink. In my head, I kept trying to figure out, like, how did they set that up? Like, what if they all wanted the same drink? What if somebody wanted 2 different drinks? Like, how did it
Why
work
would you
out
do
so
it that way?
perfectly? Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
fate. Because
Yeah.
fate.
I guess.
Valentine's Day magic. Get on board.
I literally have a note here that says the drink order just broke me.
So here's my question: which of those drinks would you have gone for? This is important.
So there was a sangria, right? There was like a chocolate martini. I don't remember what the last one was.
I've never had a
the
chocolate
chocolate
martini. That
martini
sounds
is the-
good.
Ooh.
So we had them at our wedding, which was
Ooh.
many moons ago. And I don't know how many I drank, but I could not get drunk. So I don't know. Sangria seems like the
Really?
way to go if you're,
Mm,
looking to loosen up. But, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
what about you? Which ones would you guys go with?
Well, I was
I
going to
mean,
say
you're making
chocolate
a good
martini because
case
that
for
sounds good, but now that you're
Yeah.
saying that I won't get
You're
even
making a
tipsy
case.
off of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
now I'm making the other ones.
Listen, I'm trying to get from point A to point B when I pick up a cocktail.
Exactly, right?
So I think you have swayed me to Team Sangria. So now we're fighting it out for the last two sangrias.
It could be just the ones that we had at the Hollow Springs in Saratoga, New York. Don't get it there if you're gonna go.
Okay.
Um, and I think this is around the time
Now
she
who's doing the expose on the
Yeah.
mom and pop shop?
You sons of bitches. It's not. It's by no means. It's so the Hollow Springs is like this giant it's almost like a marble like building in the state park in Saratoga, New York. It's actually where I had my
Shit.
senior prom. It's the same place that my wife and I got married. And my
Oh,
senior
wow.
prom date was there at our wedding, so it was like full circle of
Aw,
life.
that's so cute.
That
I
is
love
like
that.
Yeah,
That is deeply small town. That's
Right?
amazing.
very.
Yeah.
So I think this is around the time we also get the backstory of when her dad passed away and kind of everything that went on with that, because Dean is very adamant that Lucy's mother should be a part of this, like these interviews, and like Lucy's very opposed to it. I don't know if her mom even like gets the question, but it's just like it's pretty much off the table the entire time. And we kind of get the story that it brings up bad memories, like it hurts the mother and all this sort of fun. And fun, that's not the right word, but
I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of fun.
So
Dark, Joe. Dark.
and this is where we go and we see Serena, and because Serena is her best friend, but also had just gotten engaged, and presumably because of the magic of the Cupid. But during their interview, her and her husband to be, we find out that he's still talking to his ex-girlfriend, and they kind of get into a fight. And like, this is, if there's turmoil in the movie, I guess this was it. Like, this is, to your point, Rachel, like the curse seems like
Yeah.
they're gonna break up. But I don't know. The whole thing felt very kind of loose to me, and I at no point did I really think it was going to end. But I don't know. What did you both think?
I mean, this is where I thought we were getting the turn and we were going to find out about the curse, but then they were like, nope, not a problem.
It's resolved
Like-
very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought that third act tension where usually the couple's like torn apart for some reason before they get back together in the end. I thought it was either going to be the curse or that he would decide he had to do like an expose on the chocolate shop because of his new job in New York, and that would tear them apart. But neither thing happened. It just sort of was like resolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no betrayal act. Like,
no, it's
which
mostly
to
just
me,
like,
I actually appreciated.
Yeah, because it's more just like what they think is important, right? Like he's trying to decide if it's more important for him to stay and see what's happening with him and Lucy, or go to this job that he's always wanted. And she's trying to figure out if she can open herself up to love,
Mm-hmm.
It is a little bit different.
These movies tend to like model some poor relationship dynamics, and I think The Friend is kind of an example of that. That's part of the reason sometimes I get a little grumpy about these movies. So I thought it was like really refreshing, like I said, that there were no villains, and it was about like figuring out priorities and like understanding boundaries and like kind of working through some past trauma. Like that was the stuff that we were like overcoming, not his like bowing to the pressure of his evil editor to take down the company after all. I don't know. I kept waiting for that moment, and I was like, well, I'm going to hate you, Dean, so don't do it. And then it never happened.
Yeah.
If this was made 10 years ago, like she would have closed the chocolate shop and gone with him to New York to like, be a housewife for him or something.
Yeah, it would have been like You Got Mail,
Right. This is totally of the You Got Mail school, but like, yeah,
it doesn't
never goes there. Yeah.
So let me ask you both. If you were engaged and discovered that your soon-to-be significant other was still talking to their ex and you didn't know about it, would that be a deal breaker?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean,
all of my I'm friends with like all of my exes, and that would be super hypocritical if I was mad about
even
it.
the Carney?
I don't. Even the carny.
No.
Well, so he randomly called me recently, and I was like, "Oh my god, who died? Who died? Who died? Why is the carny calling me?"
Is it in your phone as Carney?
Yeah, it says Carney James.
Love that.
It's who he is.
Ariel,
It's
that
accurate.
doesn't seem like that's a deal breaker for you either.
No, I don't think so. I'm not really a jealous person by nature, so I don't think it would really bother me. I mean, I suppose if they were like sexting or something, that would be
Well,
like,
yeah.
I
I don't,
yeah.
you know. But other than if they're just having conversations, I could care less.
All right.
What about
Okay.
you, Joe? What if you found out the missus was like exchanging an occasional text with an ex?
Leslie, I know she is. Yeah, no. She would kick my ass, and I am terrified of her. And I would never, like to the point, like
Leslie.
if my ex ever texted me, like I would get it, look at it, and like just throw my phone like in the river, just be like, nope,
Phone
not
is
falling
done.
into this trap. Like, good, we're good.
I think I would be weirded out by the secret part of it, but not the
That's
text.
true.
I think
Yeah,
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
like
Because I'm
why
not
didn't he
jealous.
mention it?
Yeah.
Like why? Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that is a
I-
little
the
weird.
texting.
I am like a stupid male where I would get it and just be like, oh, I can't say anything about this. And then it would come out and then she would kick my ass and like rightfully
Right.
so. This is why I'm terrified of my wife, but I do love her very much.
I feel like you have some agency in this show. I don't think you have to be.
No, surely she's going to listen to this and be like, yes, this is the right answer. This is exactly.
Amazing.
She is the sweetest like woman in the world, but I am legit terrified of her. And it's,
Well, we like a nice, powerful woman.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Our show is literally called More Deadly. She
There you
sounds
go.
like she'll fit right in.
Oh, 100%. So we also kind of get this side story or, the progression that Dean and this like news station, they have a Valentine's Day party, which seems insane to me. Like what company or like any place has a Valentine's Day party for their like employees? Like
That is a
I've
little
never heard of
weird.
this. Yeah.
No.
I can't believe I did not even notice it, but you're so right. That is super weird.
So I don't think it was actually on Valentine's Day because I mean that would be ballsy. But like who? Like
But
bring
the
your
decorations.
yeah. But like bring your significant other to the office and then like I don't know, we'll all make out or something. I don't know. Like
Well,
It was the Valentine's Day key party. Uh-huh. Did you know? I didn't know this. This is because I'm not on TikTok,
Mhm.
but that the upside down pineapple is the code for swingers.
100%.
God, I'm totally out of the loop.
I recently got like I forget what his name is, but like he's starting a podcast with him and his hot wife. And like, that's literally the words he uses. And they're swingers and it's about their whole thing. And I don't know why I got it in my algorithm, like, but it's there. And now I'm fascinated.
What is it called for? I'm asking for a friend. To raise me.
I'll find it. I forget the name, but I will find it.
Hit me up in the Discord.
Because I do like it's fascinating and like they're starting a podcast and I legit want to know like the dynamic around it.
Yeah.
Because I think
let me Jane Goodall that shit. Because I
Like-
mean, I would never be a part of it, so this is the only way I'm gonna know.
Well, I think most of us only know about it from the that HBO series, Real Sex from the 90s. And like it was always like you were young and you would stay up till like 4 a.m. and be excited to see nudity on TV. And then it would show like
And
real
it's a
swingers,
bummer.
and you're like, this is not what
Not
I
what I
signed up for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like lots of gray ponytails. And there was another show that I'll recommend to you that if you want to see it, it was called Polyamory, Married and Dating. Did you
Oh.
ever watch that?
No.
It was like an HBO. It was another late night HBO show where it was about like pods, like relationship pods, and it was late night HBO. So
Wow. No idea.
yeah, so there was like unsimulated
Hanky panky on
Interesting.
screen.
hanky panky. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we watched the Cat House, like whatever the that one. Did you all ever see Gigolos? I think it was on like Showtime or something.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was unreal. And again, like it was very scripted, but it was a reality show. It was like these 5 gigolos in Vegas. and like it just kind of followed their escapades.
Oh, well,
You know
that sounds
who-
fascinating.
Since you watched it, Rachel, you remember Hawk? He was the one that wanted to be a rapper, and he had like his whole "I got the gigolo style, got the gigolo swagger." Like, he now is like, I don't know how I got down this rabbit hole like a month ago, but I found him on Instagram, and he's now like a motivational like yoga instructor type thing. Like
What?
it'll
Bizarre
blow you away.
trajectory.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to have to take this to the Discord.
It's a
I
lot.
need further details.
Yeah. So I don't even know where we are anymore. So Dean asked Lucy to go to the Valentine's Day party because his boss is loving the story and very excited about this whole thing. And it's great that she's there. And again, like a bold move, but like we've seen, there's a lot of like chemistry between the two. And I think, I don't know if at this point they've kind of made the chocolate together, but like, you know, we see where things are going. Oh, the other thing that surprised me that the song that plays in the background of the Valentine's Day party is like fairly new, right? Like it was, I forget the name of it. It's like Georgia or something. But like it's the first time I've heard a song that like literally is like on the radio now being one of these movies, and I was very, I was surprised and happy for them. Nobody else?
Lifetime knows what's good.
Yeah, no, I was surprised at it too. I think I Shazammed it last night, and now I can't even remember what it was because I was like, oh, that is kind of weird that they have that, because generally it's either older music or it's kind of like Muzak versions of things,
I remember one we got "Life Is a Highway," and I was like, "Oh, that's a score."
Interesting.
But this is the first time I've heard anything that is like new,
so contemporary.
So this is kind of where we're getting to the third act, and like things are sort of falling apart. Dean gets the job in New York, so he's moving away, and him and Lucy obviously can't be together. Serena is kind of going through her thing with her and her fiance getting separated, and then throws some like low-key shade about how like I've been hiding in the back of my flower shop just like you do in your kitchen because you don't want to like talk to anyone. Like Serena was a bit of a toxic friend, I feel like, in certain
a little
scene.
bit. It's also inaccurate because they had at one point like 784 orders, and she was so nonchalant and basically spent no time making chocolate the entire movie.
Yeah.
So
That was my other question, because they spend, I think at one point they say it's like 3 or 4 weeks, and she's just like out on the road with him, like going and interview people. It's like, who's actually making the chocolate? Because the mother,
because she's the only one. Right. Yeah. She's the only one that
Yeah.
makes the chocolate.
They're just like repackaging Russell Stover. See, now we do need an
There we
expose.
go.
There you go.
Now you go.
That's the reason for the investigative journalism.
So Serena ends up getting back together with her guy. They, Lucy kind of is feeling down, goes to the shop. I forget if this is before or after the like pretty much the entire segment falls apart, right? Like they go to the shop. There's a ton of people there. Serena has kind of gotten a bunch of people together. They're all in back making the chocolate to help fulfill the orders. Nobody's wearing a hairnet. There's no kind of gloves or
There's
sanitation.
no gloves.
There.
No, that's why you can't eat at everybody's house. Stuff like this happens.
You guys, these are all really valid points you're making. And I don't know if I just had a really hard week, but I cried when she went back there and all the people were
Really?
chocolate.
I cried with the lesbian
I'm
love
so
story,
ashamed of
but I did not
myself.
cry at that part.
The lesbian love story definitely got me. It was definitely very sweet. But again, I was very high and I get very emotional. Not to get completely off topic, but Leslie and I also watched, I think it was Monday night, the Grammys, like online. And when Sam Smith, and I forget her name,
Kim Petras.
Yes, she was the first trans woman. We were both like uncontrollably sobbing, and like
It was a very
think-
cool moment.
I don't think I cried like that at like the birth of my kids, at my wedding. Like uncontrollably.
I love it.
Anyway, so they're fulfilling all the orders. Then they get a call that from like the camera guy or something saying, "Oh, we had some technical difficulties. The entire thing is lost." So there's like weeks worth of work.
This is the curse.
Right?
right.
And
We found
Lucy doesn't bat an eye. She's just like, okay, that's gone. And
Oh,
like,
well.
nobody's upset. So they end up interviewing her mother and kind of getting the romance story between her and her father, and about how he passed away and all that. And so
And
like
he was a
that's what we
teen.
get, but it was like, isn't anybody pissed that there was this giant like news story that you had and now you've got like
Yeah.
a 20-second clip?
Well, it was weird because I think some of it had already aired and that's why she was getting more business, but then they lost a bunch of it too. And yeah, nobody seems to mind.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know.
we put all this effort. Everything's cool though, right?
Yeah.
So we get like the final scene in the store where Dean is interviewing Lucy. We find out that he's not going to New York. He took the job in, whatever town this is, Watson Corners. Then during like the final interview, he just starts like professing his love, and like they're almost like whispering to each other. And I kept thinking like, this is all happening on live TV. Like, who is watching this? Like, unfold? And it goes on for like 5 minutes. And like at a certain point, you're like, all right, should we cut away or something? Like,
Right.
what are we doing
it's
here?
very strange.
So they end up getting together. You're both completely right. We never find out like if the mother gets a condo or something, but pretty much Dean, they decide that, they're together now. They have like, for Hallmark, a fairly passionate kiss, and then
Yeah.
immediately going back and start making chocolate, which I assume was just some sort of like foreplay that we didn't really see play out.
Thank you for the hand gestures, Rachel. We needed that.
Well, this is I want to make sure this makes it to YouTube. So.
I don't know how to blur things yet. Like, this is the first time, but
Yeah, you're gonna get him demonetized. Be careful.
And that's literally my last note is they're gonna fuck in that kitchen, and like that's it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things
but
that
I'm
actually
agreed
is.
for doing a hand gesture.
I think that's one of the things that really actually does work about this movie is how good their chemistry is. Like a lot of times you watch these Hallmark movies and they're very cute and very sweet and a lot of fun, but you don't buy into their chemistry at all. Like a lot of times their interactions when they're about to kiss or something are so wooden, but here I actually bought that they were into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we're kidding around, but it did feel like there was like passion in the kitchen. Like there was definitely like, I would love to see like maybe they got together after the movie or something, like this is like a real romance and warm my heart. Anything we missed in Sweeter Than Chocolate or anything else you guys want to hit on? Otherwise we'll kind of get to wrapping it up.
No, I mean, I think this one has there's some pretty big plot holes in this, but I think I agree with Ariel when I say like it's carried by the likability of the characters and their like actual chemistry.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This one got me.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there are moments that are cheesy, like when they're talking about the secret ingredient of the Cupids, that it's not love,
it's bravery.
It's not paprika, it's bravery. And it's so cheesy, but at the same time, there is something different about that, because the secret ingredient would normally be something like love. But the fact that she's saying you have to be brave enough to like put yourself out there. I know it's cheesy as hell, but I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
It is
I like
100%.
That.
It is a nice touch. I mean, based on the lack of hair nets, I assume the secret ingredient is also like random hairs or like, things that just
gross.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There was not a lot of glove use when they were tempering the chocolate. None.
No, there was a lot of skin cells in that chocolate.
If you find a Band-Aid in your Cupid, like you're gonna find love like before the end of the year.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I sort of wish had been more in this movie is we get a little glimpse at some of these people that live in the town, like, her friend or the people that they're interviewing. And it almost has that thing that I love in movies and TV shows where you get the quirky town characters. And I just wish they had leaned into that more, where it had been more like that Gilmore Girls, Murder, She Wrote kind of vibe where you get the, you know what I mean? Like Cabot Cove or Stars Hollow, where all the little characters that show up every once in a while are like quirky and weird and they all like each other. I wish it had leaned into that a little bit more. Yeah.
That's a valid point. I didn't even think about it, but usually there is like at least the friend that you kind of love.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what Serena was supposed to be, but like she was going through her own thing. And yeah, you
Yeah, it
do
didn't
get like
quite work.
little glimpses. And like to your point, some of the couples that we meet during these, you know, the interviews seem super interesting, but we only get them for about 30 seconds, right? Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
yeah, we could have done that more.
Mhm.
So all right, the most important question: you're happily ever after. Who from this movie do you kind of ride off into the sunset with, or who can you know, see yourself making chocolate for the rest of your life with?
Oh,
Oh,
right.
Mm.
that's a very good question.
Is it?
Maybe that realtor.
Oh no. Yeah.
There you go.
I was gonna
That's
say
valid.
maybe her mom. She's hot and nice
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
smart.
I would go Brenda Strong. So she was. It
Yeah.
took me forever to look it up, but Sue Ellen Mishke or whatever from Seinfeld. Yeah, I would definitely go with the
Oh,
mom.
right.
I mean, she's getting her own condo. She's doing her thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be mine also. All right. So sweeter than chocolate. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What would you go with?
I would say thumbs up for this one. It's cheesy, but
Yeah.
it was fun. I had a good time and I bought into the characters, so I liked it.
Yeah, agreed. Rachel,
Yeah.
you'd go with.
Me too. I liked this actually a lot more than I expected to. Partway through it, I texted Ariel and was like, "I'm not having a terrible time. I don't know. Who am I?" And I think because, like I said, it kind of avoided some of the stuff that I don't necessarily love
Mhm.
about the formula. And I actually really liked Lucy, and the chemistry was believable. I don't know. I had a surprisingly good time with this.
There you
So
go.
I'm gonna say thumbs up for me.
You're a convert.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go thumbs up too.
Yeah.
But so wait, we need to jump back. Are you completely opposed to rom-coms? Like, are you, you know, against them, or what's your deal, Rachel?
I don't mind a comedy with romance,
Mm.
but the romance is the like price I pay for the comedy. I tend not to be a romantic person, but every once in a while something will sneak into the little husk that I keep in my chest, and this
Mhm.
one managed to a little bit. Yeah. I always like the things where like the at the end the love story is actually between the two sisters who really
Yeah.
relate to one another, or like the woman getting the job she wanted.
There you go. Yeah, I get that. Every time a
Yeah.
bell rings, I'm telling you, it's your one. You got to check it out. All right, so we are on it's just me, Instagram and Twitter, small and failing. We got a bunch of questions this week. Most of them
Ooh.
from Caitlin, who was on our last episode, who you know from Plug It Up. But
Love.
here
Love,
we
love,
go.
love.
Oh dear God, I don't think I remember how to read these, but we'll get there. Um,
We'll
wait.
start with the thing called the alphabet.
um, so this is a personal. Flowers or chocolate, and what's your favorite flower?
Oh, okay. Definitely chocolate.
Yeah,
Hands down. Favorite flower is a stargazer lily.
Oh,
Those are very pretty.
yeah.
Thank you.
Ariel?
Yeah, I would go chocolate any
Yeah.
day.
Do you
I
have
don't
a
think I
favorite
have
flower?
a favorite flower. No.
I don't think I could either. Although in the we have the Morton Arboretum here outside Chicago, and every year it's a big event because they have this giant corpse flower, which is like this
Oh, those are
Oh,
cool.
shit.
Yeah. And apparently like it stinks to high hell, and it's amazing when it opens up. So I mean, you know, that seems nice.
That's cool. My dad in front of his house has one of those century plants. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's
Oh.
kind of like a cactus, and then it grows to be like 20 feet tall, the stalk in the middle,
Oh.
and then it flowers, and then that stalk dies and it falls over. And then you have to wait years and years and years for it to do it again. But it's really cool when it happens, except the year that it accidentally smashed my dad's car. That wasn't great. But other than that.
Well, shit.
This one, and Rachel, I don't know if you're gonna get this, but Ariel, you might. Is this the chocolate version of the wedding veil? Which have either of you watched any of the Wedding Veil movies? I've only
heard
seen
you
the one.
No,
talk about
I don't
it,
think so.
But I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
seen
don't-
as many of the like series ones either.
Yeah. Although now that it is a valid question, because in the Wedding Veil they go and they buy this veil in an antique store, and the whole lore is like, if you have it, you're going to be married within the year. So, you know.
Oh, gotcha. It is kind of similar. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it also seems to have spawned like 19 different Wedding Veil movies. So I don't know if
Oh,
we're going to
my
get that
goodness.
from this, but you know. All right. This one from Caitlin. Like, I usually don't say the name, but what time is it? It's 7:45 here. All right.
5:45 p.m. Pacific Coast time.
All right, next one. Are you a dark or milk chocolate person? White is not an option. Do either of you like white
is
chocolate?
Not an option.
It's not chocolate.
No, it's
for it.
terrible.
It's
It's just
chocolate.
sweet and it's always waxy and
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
No.
But I think we kind of talked to the front. We're all pretty much open to everything. Although if I had an option, I would go dark. Yeah. All right.
Chocolate verse.
What is the worst candy bar?
All right.
Oh,
Ariel.
Rachel, are you gonna say Butterfinger?
What?
It is Butterfingers are the worst. Butterfingers is like a lie. It's like big Nestle telling us it's good, but it's disgusting.
Do you agree with this, Ariel? I do not.
I do. So we did like a Halloween special this past year, and we got into a huge argument where it was like me and Rachel on one side and everybody else on our network on the other side,
brainwashed masses,
telling us we were wrong. But here's the thing: is it doesn't. It's just sweet inside, and it gets stuck in your teeth. There's no peanut butter flavor like they try to tell you there is.
Yeah,
it's just
like you can just picture the feeling of your teeth, like take a bite.
Yes.
I'll give you that. I do enjoy them, but I will avoid them because they are like they're in your teeth for like the next 3 days for sure, and then your teeth are stuck together. Yeah.
So Joe, I have to ask an additional question because this is a hot. You know what I'm about to ask.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Where do you land on candy corn?
I love
this
candy corn.
Destroyed my real. Yeah.
So
yes. Like a man of taste, a man of wisdom.
Leslie and like most of our good friends know me as like I love old people candy. Like I love candy corn. I love circus peanuts. I love Necco wafers. Like when Necco was going out of business and they were getting rid of them, there's an old like a penny candy store not too far from here. I literally went there and bought every Necco wafer they had because I'm like,
yeah.
Because one, they don't go bad, so like you can hoard those forever, and two, like I just love them. Yeah, black licorice, huge fan. Like
what?
All things old people. Yeah. Very.
I'm confused.
I do love
by
like
the
a black Jack chewing gum. Oh my god, candy corn is amazing.
Rachel has been like trying to systematically change everybody's mind about candy corn to turn them against me, and I do not appreciate it. Okay,
it almost tore the podcast
firm. It's bad.
20 years of friendship almost ended that night.
I don't get the hate for it. Like I don't understand why people are so opposed to it. Like they kind of just taste like honey. And they're wonderful. And
I get
they're
like vanilla.
Yeah.
They taste like Halloween. You only eat them at Halloween and they taste like Halloween.
It's just like grainy, waxy sugar. I don't understand why you like it.
Grainy, waxy, pick a lane.
It's both. That's why they're weird. The outside is waxy, the inside is grainy, and it just tastes like sugar. There's no flavor there.
What about
crazy.
I stand by it.
Have you had they have them around like the holidays? They're not candy corn, but they're pretty much made of the same material, and they're just like real cheap, like little Santas and stuff that you can get. Have you ever had those? Like
no,
yeah,
that sounds
they're pretty much like the pumpkins, but you get like around the holidays. They have we're not far from the Jelly Belly factory, and they always have like giant bags of them, but they also sell like the ones that like got misformed and stuff, so you can get like 3 pounds for like a nickel or something ridiculous. Like
gotcha.
It's circus peanuts.
We didn't hear what your worst candy bar
I don't know
was.
if I have a candy bar that I dislike. Like I can't think of anything. Like Butterfinger, I 100% agree with you. I think I'm more like I don't really like Skittles and things like that, but like a candy bar, there's none that I can think of that I would be opposed to,
I'm not a fan of a Hershey's. Oh yeah. A Hershey's bar unless I'm making s'mores, and then that's like when I want them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I would never just go in and get like a Hershey bar. Like the ones with almonds, I'll partake in that. Three Musketeers even I enjoy, but like that would probably be low on my list.
Yeah,
and
me too.
You know, And it does take
I
three
need
like
texture. I need
swashbuckling people to make that. Like, I appreciate the effort, but
yeah, you got to
the
respect
Corsairs
that.
are problematic. Yeah. Mhm.
And then this last one, I don't even know what this means. How many calories in spit? Like,
Is that another
none.
Caitlin question?
It's not. It's just some
Oh.
rando. Yeah, I assume none.
Interesting.
But
Calories
Yeah.
and spit.
I mean,
Got a scientist in here. You got the Bunsen burners.
But as I mentioned, you can send in questions, small and failing on Instagram and Twitter. Email smalltownfailingpodcast@gmail.com. Cameo, if you're looking for a last minute gift for that loved one, small town failing on there. iTunes and Spotify reviews. Thank you, everyone that has done those. It's a huge help. Rachel and Ariel, what's next for the Zombie Grrlz averse?
yeah, I mean, we have a ton of new episodes coming out soon on Stream Queens. They're about to start a whole series where they're going to be reviewing every Final Destination movie that's ever been made.
What
On More
have I
Deadly,
done?
we've got more interviews and more episodes coming, like the Cocaine Bear with your
Cannot
host
wait.
Joe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that'll be out soon. And then on Zombie Grrlz, our original podcast, we have an episode coming out where we reviewed Psycho 3 and The Exorcist 3, and another
Ooh.
one where we dived into our shame holes, which is what we call horror movies that we've never seen that we're sort of embarrassed as horror fans that we missed the first time around.
What was yours? What did you both do one?
We did. We all
Yeah.
did one. Mine was Audition. So
Oh,
that's why
okay.
Rachel
Look at
was
that.
mentioning it earlier. Yeah.
I think I
Yeah,
just
I did The
recently saw that
Fog.
like a year ago or so for Audition, but
Shame.
yeah.
Shame. You gotta ring the bell. I did The Fog by John Carpenter because I'd
Oh.
only ever seen the terrible remake from 2005.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a remake.
Mhm,
I
it's
mean, there
bad.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It
The
was
f-
very bad.
The Fog was like a Sunday morning on TV like staple where I grew up. So
Mhm.
I think I saw that a lot more than I probably should have at a very early age. So
This
It's a
is our
fun one.
third round of shame holes.
Oh.
I think you'll be more horrified by my previous one, which was the original Friday the 13th.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I
I
guess
felt like they were going to revoke my podcast card.
We were all very
seen
shocked.
that one. Yeah.
I guess I can get
know,
that though.
know.
Like I think everybody goes for Jason with the mask and everything, and like you don't really get that till part 3, so like there's not a lot of
Yeah.
draw there. I get that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. And
All right.
where can everybody find you all?
Yeah, so you can find us at ZG Podcasts on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find us wherever you get your pods too.
Terrific. And on the socials?
At ZG Podcasts with an S.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, on all of them.
Z at the front and S at the end.
And you can find like More Deadly if you search for that on your podcatchers or wherever you listen to your pods, or the Zombie Grrlz Network. And we spell it GRRLZ if you're looking for us.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for coming on and doing this. As always, I appreciate it so much. Maybe next time we'll do a lifetime stabby one.
Yeah, that would be
yeah.
fun. Sure, we'd love to
Sure.
come back again. This is great.
There's some great ones. Like they just did one on did you watch that HBO documentary on the church cult, the woman?
Are you going to say The Way Down?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that was so
Oh my God.
interesting.
I've seen the photos of Jennifer Grey in
Yes.
the wig, and I cannot wait.
All right, maybe we'll set this up. Like maybe this will be the one that feels like a good one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you both for coming on. I don't know what we're doing in the next episode, but we'll figure it out. And as always, thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.